I keep forgetting.
What you gonna do, brother? Audio? We don't have audio on this show, bro. You look at us for our looks. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Dusty?
I keep forgetting that I mute it.
He can only do
this guy
so
can't
much.
keep his mouth shut,
Bro.
while the intro's running.
I can't do it, man. I gotta tell people to go over to twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. That's twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. It just started off, bro. Who are you, man?
I'm Matt. I've got a perspective on things. I hate when I when I mess that up.
And what you gonna do, brother? I'm the strong one, and I've got opinions on things here, brother. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for today. Listen, here's the thing. My man's a perfectionist, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I bust his chops about it all the time, because I'm just a go, go, go guy, man.
All the time.
And I can't stop, okay? I'm the foolishness of Plausible here at twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. That's twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. If you're over here on TikTok, thank you for following us everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Parler. You're official on Parler, bro.
Yeah.
Blue checkmark. This guy's blue checkmarked over at Parler. You feel me? I'm blue checkmarked over at News Clapper. Yay! I had to do that. Okay? I'm just jacked up, man. We're almost at 41,000 people on TikTok on the Strong One Nation. We're blowing up everywhere. We're expanding so fast, it's ridiculous. We're the fastest growing conservative radio show on Twitch. Period. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You feel me?
Oh yeah.
And what we came to do is we will rock you, baby. Sorry, I had to do a little dodgeball. I watched that the other day, too.
I love that movie.
So funny, man.
Except for the very, very ending.
What?
The very, very ending.
What are you talking about?
Where it's like, I'm not a lesbian. I'm bisexual. And you're like,
I mean, listen. Here's the thing.
That wasn't funny.
Listen, the Jesus in me hated it, okay?
Yeah.
The rotten sinner in me, absolutely. Anyway, so what I was going to say, this is a kid's show.
I just was like, that's not actually funny. That wasn't funny.
I mean, the Lance Armstrong part has aged poorly because,
yeah,
you know, he's a cheating, you know, maniacal SOB. You know, it is what it is.
You know what?
What?
I still can't throw hate his way because every single damn one of them is cheating.
Well, of course. I
and
think
he's just the one
who got caught.
He's still no, he didn't even get caught.
He was the most successful.
He was the most successful. You know, despite everybody cheating.
Yeah.
He was better, and they hated him for it.
True.
Because he wasn't European.
Is that like why Bobby the Bull is hating on my Hulk Hogan impersonation? What you
yeah.
gonna do, Bobby the Bull, with the 24-inch pythons? Whatever, bro. It's messed up, bro.
Yeah.
It's hate. No, but I think, listen, all sports at the professional level, they should all be juicing. No offense. I think they should be. I think they should all be jacked, tan, crazy. Listen, sports are entertainment. Let's not forget this, okay? Let's not forget this at all. Sports, when you boil it down, is entertainment.
Yes.
It is. Like, listen, you don't really love Tom Brady, okay? You like the feeling, the dopamine hit that Tom Brady gives you if you're a former New England fan and now a Tampa Bay fan, okay? That he's going to do when he brings the Super Bowl here in Florida to Tampa. You know the Super Bowl's in Tampa, right?
Is it?
How crazy would it be if the Tampa Bay Bucks, under Tom Brady,
it's not happening.
the most hated man, the Satan worshiper with the witch wife, who is Benjamin Button by the power of Satan, okay, ends up in the Super Bowl here. You feel me? What is up?
Dusty Joe is talking about how Chuck Norris is still awesome.
Of course
he says, Chuck Norris as a teenager peed into a semi-truck's gas tank. That semi-truck is now known as Optimus Prime. Well done.
I mean, you
my
know,
favorite Chuck Norris joke is, Chuck Norris's tears cure cancer.
Oh, man.
It's too bad he never cries.
Yowie!
Yowie wowie.
Wowie! Oh,
we got a resub, JBN311. Thank you so much for following.
Dude, you're the man. Thanks, bro.
You're a real American.
You are a real American. I love that, man. So, yeah, man. I mean, let's get real. I mean, it's all entertainment. It's all just for fun. You know, it is what it is.
It is.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot my Chuck
But part
Norris
of the
joke.
fun is...
My Chuck Norris joke. I forgot it, bro.
Oh, so...
I got my... You know what my favorite Chuck Norris joke is?
What's that?
Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He does Earth Downs.
Earth Downs, yes.
Sorry,
That is a
I had to
good
do it. I had to do it. But it's entertainment, man. It's fun. What? We love you, Deep State.
That's 5 months. That's a 5-month
months?
strength.
My
streak.
goodness.
Deep State, somehow, you are a real American too.
Listen, I think Deep State, I think the problem is Deep State is making us look like controlled opposition. I mean, he's funding the operation.
That's true. But you know what?
We've become Alex Jones.
We'll take your money, Soros. We'll take your money.
take that money.
We're going to do conservative, constitutionalist things with it.
You better believe it, dog.
Capitalist things with it.
The only time Chuck Norris was wrong was when he thought he made a mistake. Yowie, wowie. Thank you, Dusty. Dusty! Thanks, bro. We love it, man. Thank you so much. So, gotta
It's a
start the show.
gifting. Okay, so that's what it is. JBN and Dusty just
Whoa.
gifted subs. It's saying resubbed. Ignore that. I'll fix it in post.
Bro, I don't care. Are they helping the cause?
They are helping the cause.
they helping the
100%.
cause?
100%.
Are they growing
And
the
you
platform?
see who the sub got gifted to? Romina.
Romina.
Who's apparently ghost watching us.
What?
She's stalker watching
Hey,
us.
listen, I'm okay with that, Romina. We love you.
Yeah.
Romina, we love you.
Well, where's the hello?
First of all, Romina was so nice of us to have her up at her house in Jacksonville when we went to go watch Fight for the Fallen.
That was great.
Back in the day, which was great, which is so sad, the state of affairs. I hate to circle back to wrestling. But on a sad note, man, we lost a legend in the professional wrestling world, and his name happened to be Kamala, which is ironic because a WWE classic superstar named Kamala died on the same week that Joe Biden's campaign died by introducing Kamala Harris as his vice president pick. So, one, couple things I need to say about this. It is very ironic that Kamala dies and Kamala dies in the same week. But what is also interesting at the same time is the fact that for years I was told that the only person that body slammed Andre the Giant was Hulk Hogan. It was a complete lie. It was a complete fabrication. Leaked video has been spread like wildfire throughout the internet world, especially for the wrestling nerds like me and the mad scientists over here.
Oh, yeah.
Of Kamala, not struggling like the Hulkster did. Remember the Hulkster tried it one time? He was like, oh, my back, brother. My back, brother. Oh, gosh. Gotta Hulk up, brother. Hulk up, right? Mm-hmm. He had to Hulk up. And it took him 2 tries to body slam the big man, Andre the Giant. Kamala just whoop, 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 body slams the 8th wonder of the world. I felt like I was robbed as a child. I feel like I've been deceived. I've been lied to. This is insane. Who knew that the mystic wonder that is Kamala from the deep parts of Africa, in no way being stereotypical at all, with a voodoo face mask and voodoo paint, dressed in African garb, and never speak the lick of English, even though he was an American citizen. Always with an English explorer, handler, manager. Because that's not at all. What?
That's colonialist.
Colonialist, right? But he just
And
scooped
you know
up
what?
Andre
And you know
slammed
what?
him.
And you know what? God bless him for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kamala, for entertaining us.
Thank you, Kamala.
White, black,
I loved it. And he was scary.
Asian.
He scared the Hulkster. When he came to the ring, the Hulkster was genuinely like, whoa, brother. It's Kamala, brother. You know what I mean? Like, he was a good heel, man. He was one of those good monster heels.
Yeah.
From back in the day. And, it is what it is. But he committed to his role absolutely. We miss you, Kamala. And
do you really think he was sitting there going, God, so racist?
No.
This is so racist.
No. You know what he was doing? He's getting a rise out of the fans. Getting people fired up. He was like a big draw. He's like... I think I had a Kamala action figure back in the day. I know my uncle had one for sure. But every time Kamala came on the screen, I was terrified because that was his job. Scare the piss out of the kids. Mm-hmm. And terrify the Hulkster and the whole little Hulkamaniacs, brother. You know what I mean? Sorry, I don't know why I'm doing a lot of Hulk today. But,
I don't mind it.
Next thing's going to be Macho Man. Oh, yeah, Macho Madness. No, I won't do that. I won't go there. But it's ironic that we lose a star in Kamala only to get the fraudulent star, the false star, the embodiment of all that is corrupt politicians, swamp people knee deep in the mire that is Kamala Harris as the presidential vice president for. What's his name? Huh? Where am I at?
You know, the guy.
Huh? Come on,
The
man.
guy.
Come on, man. Have you noticed how much Joe Biden says, come on, man? Like, when he can't answer something, or it's a hard question, have you noticed his response is, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Like, that only works for so long, bro.
Come on, dog.
Can you imagine Trump on a platform with him, and he says, come on, man. You ain't black. All black people are monolith. I'm not an old racist. Come on, man. Even though I said that, what was the other thing he got caught saying? He got caught saying that everybody in Delaware that runs a 7-Eleven, you have to speak Indian to talk to them or something like that.
Oh,
He
yeah,
said
yeah.
that. Like, that's documented.
Mm-hmm,
Like, the dude is a known old school racist. He's the very thing that he says he hates.
Jamin's like, Jack. Come on, Jack.
Come on, Jack. Come on, man.
Gotta get back to the past, Samurai Jack.
That was a good show.
It was a great show.
Great show, man. But you know what's funny is he couldn't voice that character. That's cultural appropriation. He's a black man voicing an Asian character. You know that's not cool. Liberal logic. I mean, like, has no one ever pointed that one out? That Samurai Jack was voiced by a black man?
Doesn't matter.
And a clearly Asian.
Asians don't matter.
What?
No.
What?
They don't care about Asians.
That's true.
They don't care about Asians. They care about them for a hot second when there's, in between, black exploitation.
Sure.
But it'll like Crazy Rich Asians came out and it was like, oh, finally representation in Hollywood for Asians, and then like, oh, okay, cool. We got real stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the problem is because you can't have that narrative when you actually look at how Asians do in America. They absolutely dominate.
Exactly.
I think they're like 9 of the top 10.
The only thing that they can say is that like they're almost never in a Hollywood movie unless they're a martial artist. Unless they're a martial artist.
That's the most important thing, bro. To be in a
well,
Hollywood
because
movie.
it's awesome. Yeah, exactly.
That's
yeah.
the most important thing. I mean, it's.
I was gonna say
success.
because being a martial artist is awesome.
True.
And that's what we love. That's one of the things we love about your culture.
When you said that, I just immediately thought of the opening of Mortal Kombat, when the bad guy's like, "Charlin, I have your brother's soul." You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But yeah, or Bloodsport with Charlin. Charlin. He's doing the pec popping. He's popping his pecs the whole time. Yeah. When I make the preview video for this week, I'm using that clip. I'm just gonna pop my pecs and I'm just gonna have you just fist pump the whole time. Kung Fu Hustle, that was a good movie.
Kung Fu Hustle is awesome. I like Shaolin Soccer too.
What about Kung Pao? Remember Kung Pao?
Kung
Pao, the white guy that was playing.
What is it? Kung Pao.
Kung Pao.
Something about a fist.
Beaver Chucks.
That's
His name is Wimp Lo. His name is Wimp Lo. We train him to be bad. He's bad at Kung Fu and he thinks he's winning when he loses. I lose. And it's like so funny, man. But anyways. Can't make that movie nowadays. People get pissed.
My favorite, Enter the Fist.
Enter the Fist.
My favorite Kung Fu movie of all time is probably Legend of Drunken Master.
Oh yeah, Jackie Chan.
With Jackie Chan.
Pretty good.
I love drunken boxing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's what it is for me is the tricky nature of it, the way it attempts to deceive the person that is being fought.
I like it.
Anyway.
I like it. My favorite Kung Fu flick is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I think
it's a good one. Yeah, that's definitely
so good, man. Zhang Ziyi, she is phenomenal in that movie, man. But love that movie, man. Who's the guy?
Jet Li was.
Is it Chow Yun Fat? I thought it was Chow Yun Fat.
No, Jet Li was the main character.
Jet Li in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
I'm pretty sure.
Somebody fact check that for us. Figure that one out for us. The lead in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I swear it's Chow Yun Fat. We'll see. IMDb, baby. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Who we got? Who in that? Chow Young Fat, my boy, dude. I'm telling you, man.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
My bad.
He
I'm
was
sorry.
like the master with the.
It's been a long time.
The Green Destiny.
Yeah. No, my bad.
Dude, it's all
you know
good.
what I was thinking of? I was thinking of
Dude, listen.
the other one. It was it's the one that's like an actual historical piece from when.
Oh, crap! I know what you're
Is
talking
it
about.
Legend? Is it just Legend?
Maybe. Oh, Dusty's favorite movie is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It is a phenomenal movie, man. It's a great story, but the way they did the wire working and stuff like that, great movie. But my other favorite kung fu movie, which isn't really a kung fu movie, is The One. You ever seen The One?
I love The One.
The One is so good.
I love The One.
Nobody talks about that movie.
You all think I am your bitch. I am nobody's bitch. You are all my bitches.
Yeah. And then it's like the pyramid, and he's like kicking the crap out of everybody and stuff like that. Crazy. That's such a good movie, man. So good. So good. But
man.
it's all good.
Anyway.
I don't know how we got on that tangent. But, long story short, as tragic, I don't know what the tragedy is, but the tragedy is Kamala Harris. Take that back. I'm lying to all of you. I just want to give a round of applause to Joe Biden. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Joe, thank you so much for making Kamala Harris your VP pick. Thank you for almost guaranteeing a landslide victory for Donald J. Trump. Thank you. I was a little bit worried about voter fraud and ballots. And I'm not even worried about that anymore. I'm literally not worried about that whatsoever anymore because guess what? Let's get real. There's a reason why Kamala Harris is not the candidate for the president, okay? There's a reason why she didn't last very long in the primary. She had 2 solid moments on her campaign. It was the first day she announced, and she had a bunch of people there like, Kamala, yay! And then when she went after Joe Biden for being a racist, but remember, she set it up. I'm not calling you a racist, but you're a racist, okay? That was her shining moment. And 1 week later, it was dashed on the rocks. But my girl Tulsi Gabbard, aloha, brother, or aloha, sister, aloha. Thank you for smashing her into the rocks and just hitting her with the facts. Because here's the thing: on the surface, Kamala looks the part, right?
She does.
She's a decent-looking woman. She looks like she's a fun, hip person. She looks like she's relatable.
She don't act like it.
She didn't have, you know.
Like when it's like most of these people who, when they're trying to be related, it's like,
oh, it's cringy.
she's almost as bad as
Elizabeth Warren?
No, well, yes,
Elizabeth Warren.
I think Elizabeth Warren is like next level, but she's almost as bad as Hillary Clinton pulling out her hot sauce.
Oh gosh, yes, that's so bad.
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
But
and
nothing beats Elizabeth Warren and the beer.
Yeah, I'm gonna get me a beer. I'm gonna get me a beer.
I'm like you.
I
drink
like
beer.
And you can just see the stain in her face as she's drinking a beer. She's never really had a beer before.
This isn't sherry.
Yeah. Oh man, this isn't the cocaine that we do in the Cinefloor. But anyways, like cocaine Mitch. But anyways, I've heard some bad stories. Like they get lit up before they do what they do. But it is what it is. Because you live in a 24/7 news feed. These guys party hard, and then they basically have to turn around and wake up and do this all over again. So like cocaine's their drug of choice. But anyways, back to the topic. Like Kamala Harris, listen, there's a million things we can point out. We can point out the fact that she talked about on the Breakfast Club, loving listening to Biggie and Tupac in college, and smoking weed. Which one of those statements is completely false because Big and Tupac came after she was in college, so that was a out and out blatant lie. But she admitted that she smokes the marijuana, which is ironic because as a prosecutor, the prosecutor of California, the attorney general, whatever, she prosecuted more people for marijuana than anybody in the history of California politics, which is interesting. When asked about her smoking the reefer, she just laughed about it as she incarcerated people. And then if we dig a little deeper, she's also the person that blocked DNA evidence that kept a man in prison for 18 years for a crime that he did not do. Kind of crazy how that works. And she did it specifically so that she could keep her record of wins and convictions high. Now, there's a silver lining to the story, and I posted it on my Facebook, and Joe Rogan talks about it a lot. He talked about it 5 days ago, actually, which is hilarious, about how much he did not like Kamala Harris as the VP pick. And it's funny they still picked him because, you know, middle America listens to Joe Rogan. But anyway, and Joe, whenever you're ready to have us on the show, we're ready to rock. So just whenever you want to have us on, we'll light it up for 2 hours. I will be just as entertaining as Alex Jones, I promise. But,
And I'll just be sitting there going,
just be like, reptilians, bro! The Turn of the Frog's gay! You know, whatever. I'll say whatever I need to say, okay? Just kidding. I'll shill out as bad as Kamala does for this position, okay?
ooh.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Willie Brown. But anyways, did I say that out loud? Did Willie Brown's leave my lips? Willie Brown?
It didn't. Yeah, you were talking about Willie Brown.
Don't look up Willie Brown. You know, the guy who's married and she's sleeping with her, getting the position she is. Ignore that. San Francisco politics. San Francisco.
Well, not the current position.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
her DA position was it?
Yeah. Let's just say she
Attorney General
had the right moves to get that position that she used to, you know, keep innocent men in prison for 18 years.
You take one position to work your way to another position.
Take a position to get a position. Giggity-goo. Sorry, this is a PG-13 show, okay? I promise. Sorry if the kids are watching right now. But, you know, beyond that, I mean, let's get real. She has a horrible abortion record. She has always voted for abortion.
Oh, yeah. She led the charge against Kavanaugh.
Yep.
She was basically the ringleader that threw his entire character and reputation under the bus.
Yeah, man.
With zero evidence.
Let's see. She called ICE KKK.
Yeah.
She quitted. You know, that's pretty normal.
So I guess the Democrats created ICE.
Yeah.
No,
that's not how it works. But the KKK is definitely the foot soldiers of, you know, the Democratic Party. But, you know, we won't talk about that.
So the Democratic Party uses ICE to generate votes for to scare minorities, specifically black people, and
no.
And get votes for Democrats.
ICE is used to deport people that illegally break into our country and kill, murder, and break our laws.
Well, then how are they anything like the KKK?
Because Kamala said so.
Oh, okay, cool.
And, you know, a little bit of that thing called liberal logic. But, you know, it is what it is. They're ice cold. Yeah, I mean, Kamala also is the one that promised that she would give full benefits to illegal immigrants, you know. And, again, let me say this nicely. I'll say this nicely before I get very blunt. I don't hate illegal immigrants. I love people. I want people to do well, you know, because I'm a follower of Christ. But the flip side is you have to follow the law. You can't really break the law. It is what it is, you know. And our laws state that you have to go through a legal port of entry and you can seek asylum, which anybody can do. But it's crazy, a lot of people don't. So, no offense, if you decide to break the rules of coming into my house, you don't reap the benefits of my home, you know? If somebody forcibly walked into your home and just took up residence here, even though they're the nicest, sweetest, you know, abuela or dude or whatever on the planet, they're not entitled to your crap of living here, man.
No, unfortunately
they're not. Because one, they broke into B&E, they broke and entered, and secondly, you don't owe them anything. Yeah. So
we have private property in this country.
Private what?
For the time
being.
Yeah, for the time being.
But now, you know, because, you know, police, they're set up to defend private property and defend our rights as Americans. It's interesting that the Democrats decided to go with the girl who threatened to arrest parents for truancy violations of their kids.
Yeah.
She laughed as a homeless woman was getting lots of heat for her kid not going to school when she was freaking homeless. So, ipso facto, good old Kamala Harris was going to throw, you know, that poor lady in jail because of her kid acting the fool, which is crazy. But isn't surprising because isn't her lineage back to Jamaican slave owners, the biggest Jamaican slave owner in history?
According to one Dinesh D'Souza.
Time out. It's almost like, she gonna put you back in chains, y'all! I had to throw the title in like that.
That's true.
I had to drop it. She gonna put you back in chains, y'all.
She also She also actively worked against the freedom of people in jail.
Yeah.
Who, once DNA evidence surfaced, exonerating them of the crime, she actively worked against freeing them until the courts had to force her to let them go.
They made $1 million.
There was another.
I mean, that doesn't replace freedom by any means, but those dudes did make $1 million a year in that settlement.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that's still horrible to take a man's freedom.
Yeah, for sure. And there was some other thing where she was. It was some kind of petty crime initiative where they were like gonna release people, and she campaigned against it.
Yep.
And or maybe it was the freedom thing. Either way, in court, she basically said, we can't afford to lose the cheap labor.
Yeah, basically.
Like,
that sounds just like her heritage.
Yeah,
that is like strange.
Sounds like a slave owner.
It's like if your family's slave owners, it's like, Now I'm not gonna make that I'm not gonna make that liberal leap. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna play at that level. It is just hilarious that she didn't want to get rid of essentially slave labor, indentured servitude, and her family has lineage of slavery. But we will leave that alone. It is what it is.
But she's the first female person of color to break that glass ceiling and run for vice president.
Yeah. So wait a minute. Isn't racism not treating people based on? I mean, it's just interesting that the left picked her because she checked the boxes, but the left always tells us not to be racist and not check the boxes.
Well, they've upended what racism means. They're trying actively to redefine what racism is, and their claim is that this is what it's always been, but that's total BS.
Deep state.
Harris raised her hand in the debates for health care for undocumented migrants. Let's at least give her credit for that. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
She wants undocumented migrants, i.e. illegal immigrants.
I.e. cheap labor.
Yep.
Oh, weird. It's a pattern.
Yeah.
There's a pattern.
To leech off of the American system and receive free health care.
Well, at least her principles are consistent.
Yeah.
She's about the free slave labor.
Yep.
That's what she's
and
about.
If that means we got to give them a little bit of health care, then so be it.
Oh, God bless California.
What was I saying?
Sorry, I took it on a tangent, man. I apologize, bro.
It's all good.
I'll just do a dance. I'll keep him distracted. No?
No, I don't.
TikTok? What?
No, yeah.
Stop. Don't touch me. Yeah. This is my nowhere, no swear. No?
Well, no, we haven't done anything sexual.
Oh, listen, man. I got you, man. Listen, not yet. Oh, giggity, 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 giggity.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no swear. Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no swear.
How dare you? How dare you? How would you do that to Dusty for?
How dare you?
Oh gosh! Dear Lord, where does she come? Why does she come from my side? Why does she come after me like that, man? Dear Lord.
You're the one saying all this stuff.
Dusty, I hate you so much, man.
Listen, Dusty.
It's been a while, bro.
Let's have a moment of silence for the death of TikTok.
Yes.
That brought us such hits as No Square.
Yeah, but Microsoft's gonna buy him out. Okay.
All right.
That was good.
Let's have a moment of violence.
Let's have a moment of violence. Listen, I mean, Microsoft's going to buy TikTok, so it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, I saw something on Bongino report about that.
Damn, Bon.
Let me see if I can look that up again.
What's his producer's name? He always talks to his producer.
I have no idea. You gotta talk to her, dude. I've been watching Dr. Disrespect.
Oh, he's so
like he got completely banned from Twitch.
Yeah.
Now he's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Dude, his gimmick is the best.
Oh,
his gimmick is the best.
He's got the 80s stash with the mullet, with the Ray-Ban.
And but like, Like, have you watched his stream?
I've seen some of it.
Like how he's got, he plays in arena. Like the whole deal is he's so huge. He plays in an arena.
Yeah.
Full of fans, and then he goes to like he gets up from his chair all the time to go stand in front of green screen, and he's like in the gym at the arena, and he's talking about taking it to the next level, and then he'll be in the concession stand of the arena,
Oh my
and it's brilliant.
He's funny.
Like he'll do a thing where he has a phone call, okay, and he's got this flip phone, but he'll cut and it's a different green screen where it's only chest up, okay, and he's in a phone booth and he's talking on his phone. Or when he starts, he pulls up in front of the arena in his Lamborghini, and then his green screen is him, looking out, talking to you with his window rolled down. It's just brilliant stuff like that. Oh man, I love it.
500,000 views, right? 500,000 people.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Crazy. Speaking of the arena, though, man, go ahead. What do you
no.
Phil, what you got? What you got, man?
Wow. Oh no, you talk.
Cuba owes Venezuela $11 billion in oil payments.
Wow.
I don't think they're gonna pay that now.
Yeah.
I don't think Maduro's gonna get that money now. Crazy. Was that racist for using a Spanish?
Everything's racist.
Everything
is racist.
But I don't think Maduro's gonna get that money. No dinero. Yeah. So speaking of the arena, for the sports fans out there, some crazy things happening. The Corona Bros have lost the battle on a lot of things. What was that?
It's just funny. President Trump slams Kamala's record.
Big tax raiser.
But like
big
slams.
Slasher. Yes.
Kamala.
Oh my gosh, slams.
It's a little.
Slams Kamala. She's the big tax raiser. But yeah, so some. The Corona Bros have wanted us to shut down everything, right? We've talked about Corona ad nauseum on the show. We're not going to talk about Corona anymore, which is funny because most people don't want to talk about it anyways because nobody cares anymore. Have you noticed the absolute crickets on coronavirus the last couple of weeks? Like, it's been absolute crickets. Because people are just over it, man. But anyways, the Corona Bros have been trying really hard to shut everything down. They want to not send kids to school. Well, that didn't stop because people are going to school now. They've wanted to shut business down, but in the South we pretty much opened up everything except for there's still places where people want you to wear masks and stuff, which is completely stupid. Anywho, they wanted to shut down sports, but what's funny is sports are back. NBA's back, golf's back, baseball's back, hockey's back. NFL's pretty much going to go down, so we're excited about the NFL season. Whatever. But I'll be honest with you, my first love, even more than wrestling, which is going to sound sacrilegious, is college football, man. I love college football. And I think college football is unique because it is a uniquely American system. It's a uniquely American game. It's a uniquely, it's just a uniquely American concept that, student athletes go play football and play against each other, right? But, what's funny is, especially in the South, because we live in Florida, you know what I mean? College football is everything. This guy grew up in Miami, right? It's all about the U, okay? And I like the U. I don't hate on him, but I happen to be a Notre Dame fan. So when we play each other, it's Catholics versus convicts. Bring it on. Go Irish! But, I'm excited, right? So long story short is as the last stand for the Corona Bros. Because what a Corona Bro is someone who just absolutely they give into the fear porn. They think that everyone's going to die. They think everything needs to be shut down. And they literally believe that we should all stay at home until nothing bad ever happens again. And they will do everything in their power to guilt, shame, and scare people from a disease that kills 0.06% of us. Which is not a lot. 99.9% of us will survive. It's crazy how that works, right? But that's what's amazing about this whole situation is they've created this mountain out of an anthill. It's not even a molehill. You know what I mean? Their name sucks, bro. Good. I love your hate. That's why I'm the strong one. I love your hate, man. It'd only make it worse if I was a Cowboys fan. Then people would really hate me. You know what I mean? Or like a Tom Brady fan. Even though I'm secretly rooting for him this year. I'm not going to lie. I want him to win. I want him to win in Tampa. I think it'd be great. He's a winner. That's what Trump called him yesterday.
He is, but
You know, he's the spawn of Satan. No
He's
big
not.
deal.
He's.
But-
the way I see it is, it's like he's here in Tampa, but he's here in Tampa because New England, the most dominant team for like a decade, doesn't want him anymore.
Yeah.
So
he's got stuff
I don't
to
think
prove.
I don't think he's
He's
bringing.
got stuff to prove, bro.
Maybe, but I don't think. I don't think he's bringing.
Hey, we'll see.
Anything to Tampa.
But what we do know is the Corona Bros couldn't stop the NFL from starting. They couldn't stop NBA. They couldn't stop ice hockey. They couldn't stop baseball. They couldn't stop NASCAR. They couldn't stop the UFC. They couldn't stop any of this stuff. The last vestige, the last hill the Corona Bros can use to stop things getting back to normal is college football. Because we all know this. We've said this on the show. The moment that college football and regular NFL football starts being played in America, will anybody give a rat's, I pardon my French, ass about coronavirus? Will anyone care? No! The NFL is the most popular thing going, watching-wise, second only to college.
The
second.
NFL is gonna lose big time ratings.
Well, if they do all the social justice woke stuff.
I mean, they're going to.
I wouldn't bet it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, they're saying that they're going to play the national anthem and then the black national anthem.
Yeah, the thing is, they're not going to air that on TV, and I'm going to tell you why. The NBA ratings. You see the NBA ratings?
Yeah.
They took a crapper, and the NFL with the shortest memory of all time, which is hilarious because 3 years ago the Colin Kaepernick crap happened. They lost ratings for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, nobody watched it for 2 years. And then, guess what they went? They went completely pro-America. We love America!
They're back.
And then they exploded back.
No,
and there's like, oh, we forgot that America is not about social justice.
Do you really think that they'll have learned anything?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
I disagree with you.
No.
This isn't the year to learn anything.
Yep.
This is the year to double down and triple down, no matter what happens.
Yeah, but I think that they are watching the NBA basically implode.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they're worried,
stupid things happen.
but they're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real with you. I mean,
and you know what? Even if they don't play the thing on TV, people are going to know and be like, F this.
Yeah, and I think that they know that. If I'm smart, if I'm an executive, I don't play any of that on TV.
Oh,
I don't play anything.
If I'm an executive, I don't play any of it. I don't do it.
No, oh, that's true. But you have to pacify the coronavirus.
I don't got to do nothing.
Whatever. But to your point,
just look at
this
what's
is bread and circus. But
just look at Goya.
Yep.
And what's the other one? Just recently.
Just came out in support of Trump.
No, they didn't come out in support of Trump. It was Trader Joe's.
Oh yeah.
Trader Joe's is like, yeah, we're not changing the name of our frozen products and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
That's stupid and you're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. But yeah,
I'm sick of your
social
nonsense about racism.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember what I was talking about. It was with racism, how they're redefining what racism means. It doesn't mean that you hate people of a different skin color anymore.
No, yeah. Well, we talked about it last week.
It's all about power.
Yeah, it's a power thing.
It's power.
Yep. But to the NFL and the college football, think about this. It's the bread and circus. It is the thing that keeps the masses in line. And if you're going to literally destroy the thing that keeps the masses in line, you're in a world of hurt if you're a politician. The last thing that you want to happen as a politician, Republican or Democrat, is people to actually pay attention to what you're doing. You don't want that to happen. And if everything is political, people will pay attention. And it won't go the way that you want it to go, okay? So NFL is about to run. So the last hill for the Corona Bros and the Democrats is, we got to cancel college football for the safety of the kids. Which is hilarious because they let them play football, which is the most violent sport you can play. It has crippled people, literally. Mm-hmm. Okay? But now, all of a sudden, we care about people now because it's politically motivating. We care about the kids, except for the ones that get aborted, you know? It's how it works.
Well, this is college we're talking about, and the birthplace of all the rotten ideas that are plaguing our country right now.
And shocker, the two conferences that decide not to play this year, even though there's overwhelming numbers that it's safe for those guys to play, is the Pac-12 and the Big 10. And wouldn't you know what city's in the Big 10? Chicago. Good job, Lori Lightfoot. Yay!
Yay!
The leftist hellhole that everyone's leaving. Of course they had to cancel. And of course, the Pac-12's in the West Coast, so you got San Francisco and Los Angeles, and you got, Berkeley. You got all those super liberal places.
What about, like, Portland? Or, I don't know what they...
Oh, yeah, Portland is Oregon. You got Oregon. You got all those places that are up there. And the Pac-12 laid down and said, yeah, we can't play sports. It's too dangerous. And for some reason, they thought, by saying, we're going to be noble here and not play sports, that the South would comply. Well, wouldn't you know it? For once, I've heard this phrase said 1,000,000 times. 1,000,000 times. And I've always pushed back against it because of its historical context. But in the light of 2020, the strong one has finally prepared to submit to this idea. And you ready for it?
I'm ready.
The South will rise again. All right? And the South said, piss off. Big 12, SEC, ACC said, okay, have fun. We're going to play.
Yeah.
What? But we're the enlightened, intelligent, the Stanfords, the Northwesterns, the UCLAs, the USCs, and I say that as a guy who coached at UCLA. We're so much wiser and more virtuous. Why aren't you shutting everything down? Because guess what? It's called the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And states can do what states want to do. And the South will rise again. Now, if you start playing Dixie and flying a Confederate flag right now when I say that, don't get the wrong impression. But guess what? In big boy football country, Florida, Texas, Georgia, we want to play. And we're going to play. And guess what? It's going to be laughable when these institutions have big egg on their face when these other colleges start playing football and they're sitting there like, well, we thought we did the right thing. Most of these programs will evaporate. You got to understand, like, here's the thing about America, and I'm not trying to be an a-hole, but most of us are super irresponsible with their money, okay? We are.
That's true.
We're dumb. Like, what is it? 88% of us live paycheck to paycheck, okay? And I've been guilty of that for a very long time, okay? Did not figure that out until, like, I was a business owner. And I was like, oh, I should live under my means. Yay! So that if I get fired or if I lose my job, I don't freak out.
I try to live right at my means.
Huh?
I try to live right at my means, you know?
I listen, most
like,
people do.
Hit
most
that
people
line.
do, okay?
No, well, wrong.
Most people live
Erroneous.
under their means. Erroneous.
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 Most people live far beyond their means, and
To
that's
be
where
fair.
credit comes in.
To be
Hooray, credit.
Yeah, but America lives well above their means. So when you've got dinky little schools like Oregon State out in Corvallis, Oregon, guess what funds that whole operation and a lot of that school? Football! Guess what funds things out there in Arizona? Football! Guess what funds Utah? Football! And what's hilarious is, in Utah, they're starting high school football in 2 days. High school football kicks off. So imagine being a kid in Utah, hoping to play college football, and you're playing on Friday, but the team you watch, the Utah Utes, are not playing. Are you thinking, gee golly, I want to go to that school and play football? Because they give up the moment that sniffles come around.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. And what's crazier is in the Big 10, which is the Midwest, where I'm from, okay, you've got schools like Northwestern, of course, in Chicago, saying, oh, yes, we must lay down for the coronavirus. But thank God there are schools in the Big 10 that are saying, piss off, and we're about to leave. And we'll go play. We'll run.
What schools?
Nebraska.
Okay.
Do you think people in Nebraska
man.
give a rat's
Midwest,
ass about
corn-fed?
Yes. Ohio State, who was supposed to be the number one team in the country. Do you
That
think
makes me sad.
what?
I don't
That,
like it.
that they want to play?
Yeah. I'd rather them be...
It was a pass interference, man.
It was.
It was a pass interference.
100%. Now.
I cried after that game. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That was brutal. It was wrong. It was wrong.
I cried
we were
for
wrong.
joy. I was happy for the Buckeyes.
Now.
It was a pass interference, bro.
No. It wasn't a pass interference. We got called for pass interference.
Oh wait, sorry. It wasn't pass interference, brother.
He caught the ball. He caught the ball.
Bro, listen, man. Listen. All I'm trying to say is...
We got the touchdown.
Listen.
It was ridiculous.
Bro. That team of destiny. But yeah, keep going.
But...
They were a better team. No, I'm not gonna say it. The U in 2001 and 2002, best collection of athletes of all time. But yeah, keep going. Sorry about that.
But the thing was... the thing is that most Ohio State fans are actually pretty cool, and they're like, yeah, no, I mean, we shouldn't have won that national championship. So there's that, but I'm still sick of hearing about how awesome Ohio State is.
Listen,
while the U can't seem to get their act together.
This is what I will say. Here's what I would the best football atmosphere I have ever been in is clearly Notre Dame. I enjoy going to a Notre game, okay? Because there's a tradition, it's touchdown freaking Jesus, it's the whole deal. But Ohio State is going to the shoe is awesome. Okay, it is awesome. I've not been to a Canes game. I'll be honest with you. That's something I need to experience. I've been to the Gators. I've been to Florida State.
I've only been to one. I've only been to one Canes game, and it was at the Orange Bowl the last year that it was going to be used for that.
Yeah. It's sad. Orange Bowl's not there anymore, right?
No, it's now they tore it down and they turned it into. Isn't that the Marlins Stadium?
Yeah. They're really good.
That's why my brother will not watch the Marlins anymore.
But I mean, but what's funny in the Big Ten is you've got Ohio State saying we're about to leave. Okay, and they've been in the Big Ten since the beginning. And this is literally forced them in the corner because the Big Ten said, we're not going to play football. Ohio State's like, well, we are. Piss on that. We've been training for months for football season. You released a schedule for us last week. We're out. Nebraska, we're out. Iowa, we're out, man. And what's funny is you can see... Here's and the reason why I'm so fixated on this idea, especially college football, because it's such a uniquely American thing. But when push comes to shove, there's only so long you can get away with terrible ideas before people push back. Mm-hmm. Okay? There's only so long. Like, literally, the Big 10 and Pac-12 literally thought that they could bully the South into caving. Like, there's no nobility in cancellation. There's no nobility in retreat. What are you talking
about? But this is... Fear is a virtue now, man.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
This is... So as far as they're concerned, they are the noble ones.
Thanks, Bobby the Bull.
They're the noble ones giving in to fear.
Yeah.
And the South are the fools who are going to kill us all.
And guess what? They're going to play football. They're going to have massive ratings. They're going to make tons of money. They're going to lose all those athletes that were at their universities to go play at those other universities because they're not going to run from the snippets.
All you care about is money.
Yes, it's a business.
Huh.
What do you think funds your university?
Research grants.
That's really funny, man. Kermit the Frog here.
Research grants and superior intellectual thought.
Yeah, but that was the problem with Miami. That was Miami's problem for the longest time. They thought they were actually like a private school. No, you're a football school getting funded by the football team.
Oh, there's that. Yeah, that's true. But then the other thing is that it's kind of a you get into a cycle.
Dusty. Money and bravery is racist.
Yeah.
Racist.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. There's no nobility in this. There's no actual men, actual women, actual followers of Christ. And I'm not putting college football in the context of following Christ or not.
They're clearly part of the church.
But part of the blessed is the SEC, for they will always be in the playoffs. Blessed be Nick Saban. No, I'm just kidding. They probably preach that in some Alabama churches, though. To be real. To be fair. To be fair. But, no, I mean...
And I pray all these things in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen, and roll tide!
Roll tide! Oh, gosh.
I hate Alabama.
You know what though? You know who I love though right now is Coach Orgeron, the coach from LSU that just won the national championship. Right. He's always like, "Go Tigers!" Like you can't understand what he's saying.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "Hey, go Tigers!" What was that, Coach O'Shawn? Hey, go Tigers! Like that's literally his whole delivery, which is awesome. But
he's born and bred in Louisiana.
But like, I hated the SEC until this week. Like, I hated the SEC. I wasn't even a big Nebraska fan. I'm about to buy Nebraska gear. If they defect, I will literally, because the natural dignity of a United States citizen is rebellion. Think about our founding. Our founding is rebelling against the
death
tyranny.
to tyrants.
Yes. We're rebellious naturally, which, you know, as a follower of Christ is like the opposite of who we want to be. We want to follow Christ, you know what I mean? Because we're natural rebels.
I mean, to quote Benjamin Franklin, rebellion against tyranny is
ultimate form of patriotism.
No, something. It's
dissent is the ultimate.
Has something to do with God. I can't remember what it was.
Confederate flag. Yeah, I didn't realize that the Dixie flag wasn't actually the Confederate flag deal. But yeah, but no, I mean,
rebellion against tyrants is obedience to God. That's what
true.
It is.
Yeah, touche. But no, I mean, I think, you know, at the end of the day, like, it's showing what ultimately is going to happen if you continue pushing this stupidity. You know, we keep talking about Civil War, we keep talking about all this fun stuff, but when you keep pushing the stupid, you're going to see an absolute rejection of what's going on. You push stupidity like Kamala Harris, you're going to get a Trump landslide. When you pushed Hillary Clinton, you got a Trump win. When you push defund the police, people are going to push back hard, and they're going to leave your city. Look at Chicago. Look at New York. Look at L.A. Freaking Joe Rogan's like, "What? I'm out of here, man." Did you see that?
Yep.
Rogan's like, "I'm out of here. I'm going to Texas. I'm going to go to Texas." My good friend who was in my wedding is leaving from Chicago to Cleveland. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on Northeast Ohio. I went to school up there. I'm enshrined in a Hall of Fame up there, okay? It is what it is. But Northeast Ohio sucks. It sucks. For you to move from Chicago, one of the biggest cities in America, to Cleveland, says something, okay? We live in Florida. Half of our residents are from New York City. Okay? Oh, forget about it. And everybody's running from the mafia.
The other half is from Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And then there's
the other half is the Midwest. The Midwesterners.
Yeah.
We're tired of freezing all the time.
Yep.
We're gonna move to Florida. Yay!
And then like less than 1% of the population is native Floridian.
Florida, shouty. But yeah, that's so true though. But you have the population explosion. Like in the 50s, like nobody lived here. Like nobody lived here except for Miami, right? And then once the air conditioning was mainstream, everybody moved to Florida. Yeah. They're like, bro.
My mom grew up in Miami.
That's crazy, man.
She remembers, like the soda, the soda jerks and everything,
Jerks. That's great. Man.
Going down to what was it, Red Road, and getting a malt.
Get me a malt. But yeah, I mean, like that's all of you were moving to Republican-led places. Think about it. You got freaking Jason Whitlock, who's one of the best force riders in the country, moving from Los Angeles to Knoxville, Tennessee, just to get away from the stupid. You got Joe Rogan, an LA guy, moving away to Texas. And what's funny is you crazy liberals are not going to equate the fact that your cities and your states suck because you keep voting for Democrats. So when you move to my state, especially in Florida, remember this. And if you try this dumb liberal logic, you will find resistance where you did not find it before. Okay? In New York, you can say there's 70,000 genders. That's not going to work in Florida. You can say that taxation is the most beautiful thing and we need to dump tons of money in things. That's not going to fly in Texas. We balance our budgets in Florida and Texas, okay? We don't do that crap. If you move to Tennessee with some crazy, loony, lefty bullcrap, you're going to get pushback and you're going to get angry about it. But understand, you're leaving your crap holes and moving to our utopias, okay? For a reason.
Yeah.
Because we don't follow that bullcrap.
As they like to say, Don't California my Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Amen.
Don't New York my Florida.
Just turn around. Just turn around. Just go back to your place. Because you wanted that crap hole. Live in it. But if you want something different, you've got to comply with what's going on.
But you know what? The beauty of America is that you can leave
Amen.
your circumstances.
Amen.
You know? If your city doesn't have jobs, stop living in that city.
Amen. You know?
Okay?
But think about
this.
Yeah.
You know, if your city is crumbling to riots and crime and, you know, exorbitant taxation and all this nonsense, then leave.
Yep.
But first get a clue.
Yeah.
That's really what we want. It's not don't come here.
No, it's don't come here.
It's
don't come to my
It's
Florida.
don't come here if
don't
you
come
don't
here.
It's not don't come here. It's come here once you understand why this place is better.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't get why this place is better, then don't come.
Yep. But
if you think it's just a magical happenstance, then your whole life is going to be a problem because you just don't understand cause and effect.
But to this whole thing, this is why, you know, we haven't talked a lot about it on the show, and everybody talks about the Civil War's coming to America again, okay? Here's the problem, and this is why I don't prescribe to this thought process, just like I don't prescribe to QAnon, and we talked about that before, okay? Here's the reality of the situation. All these people are fleeing these super lefty places, and they're coming to places where people think completely different than them. And there's a lot more people in these locations that think in a conservative fashion, okay? Living here long enough, it's going to rub off on you a little bit like, hey, you know, it's probably a reason why I moved here, and there's probably a reason why these people are a lot better, is because they're okay with free speech, and they're okay with gun rights, and they can protect themselves, and they don't rely on the government all the time, and they balance their budget so there's no absorbent taxes. There's so many things. So when people are like, there's a civil war coming, how's that going to happen? The people with means, the people that actually are aware of how crappy their places are going to move to places where they can get away from that. And the reality is the people that are left, do you think they're war-hardened psychopaths? They're the peaceful protesters you see in good old-fashioned Portland right now. They're the Chazzes. And they'll make noise for a couple weeks, but then guess who's going to come to stop them? The people with guns. Guess who's got the guns? It's not the liberals. Remember, they're the ones that told you forever that you didn't need a gun, and now they want you to get rid of police. So when all the smart people leave and they defund the police, and it becomes Escape from LA hellhole, Escape from New York, okay, which is crazy. When it becomes that, who's going to be able to fight against Texas?
Yeah,
who's going to come fight
ultimately,
Florida?
these Antifa, you know, a-holes are just cosplaying as militia.
They're LARPing.
Yeah, that's exactly what
they're all LARPers. Think about
LARPers. They are. Well, like there's that. Did you watch a Letter with Crowder?
No.
He did.
I haven't watched.
He was trying to
Letter
do. Oh gosh. It was something about systemic racism or something. You know, it was a Change My Mind episode. Yeah. And there's this guy, and he's got like what looks like full riot gear. And he's just constantly talking over them on a PA system, you know, just constantly, so that they can't really actually get anything done once he gets there. And they go try to talk to him, whatever. They end up having to leave and go to another area. But when you really look at his gear, it's a costume. Yeah, it's not real gear.
No,
you know, he's not really prepared for battle.
No.
You know, he's got a bike helmet on.
I'm LARPing.
And what looks like a tactical vest, but is not.
I'm LARPing. But yeah, I mean, think about this, man. This is like, when push comes to shove, do you really think the left is going to be able to fight their own battle? They always call in other people to do the dirty work. And when the other people are conservatives, they're not going to play that game, okay? They're not going to do it. They're not playing that game. How many times have we seen these obscene Virginia is a great example, right? When they tried to pass a law against assault weapons, and most of the state came out with weapons in front of the place, and guess what? The police are like, "We're not going to stop this. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
We're not going to enforce this law. This is unconstitutional." And trust me, as much as Virginia is becoming incredibly blue because it's like a bleed out of DC, right? It's becoming more and more blue. So the legislators are super liberal, but the people are conservative still that live there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have this clash. It's not going to be a clash between big, huge factions of half the country here and half the country there.
Well, our populations are too mixed.
Yeah.
You don't. The reason nobody talks about their politics is because you don't know what your neighbor thinks.
Yep.
Anymore, because we don't share any values anymore.
Nope.
So, the Civil Wars are regional.
Yeah.
There's no north and south. There's there's kind of like the middle of the country and the coasts.
Yep.
Kind of, but even then, Chicago's right smack dab in the middle of the country.
Yep. But it's just cities.
Virginia's,
But even California, I don't think California is going to be very blue after this year. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, you've predicted that.
Listen, I talked to my pastor from LA 2 weeks ago, and he's like, "You would be shocked." He's like, "Ray, it's a totally different place." Like, because people are like, "This is absurd. This is absurd." Like, they finally pushed it to the point where even hard lefties are like, "This is insane. I'd rather vote for the orange man than this." Mm-hmm. Like, this is insane. Why would I do
just
this?
look at San Francisco and places like that.
Isn't that where Kamala's from?
I know it's Nancy Pelosi, but she might be from there too.
Yeah,
she might be from there.
And she gonna put you in chains, brah. Sorry, I had to do the line again.
Go to jail. Go directly to jail.
Go directly.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Unless you're an illegal immigrant, then you're fine.
Legal immigrant, you're all good. Totally okay. You do as you will. You know what I mean?
But they what was I saying? Dang it!
Sorry, I took it out of there, man.
It's okay.
She gonna put you in chains, y'all.
Oh yeah, I mean, just look at San Francisco. It's literally. I mean, it's Escape from L.A.
Yep, 100%. 100%. It's Escape from New York, Escape from L.A. But the other thing too is I think, as much as I think you see it as a negative that people don't talk about the political views, I think it's kind of a positive. I'll be honest with you. I think that it should be the will of the people should literally happen at the ballot box every year.
Sure.
And I think that there's going to be an upheaval. Yeah.
Like I don't want bubbles.
Sure.
Which is what happens if everybody But the thing is, then at the same, I don't want cancel culture either, where you're afraid to stand up for what you believe in, to have a decent argument with your friend who doesn't agree with you.
But I think
because
normal humans are doing that, though. I think normal humans are doing that.
Yeah, but you okay.
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
Maybe some, but even.
Like,
but there are people. There are plenty of people for whom. It's not that they're, they think that they're wrong, or even that they're afraid that they're going to get chewed out or something or yelled at. They're afraid that they're just going to lose a friend.
Yeah,
like
true.
If I express what I believe politically or religiously, I'll never see this person. I may never see this person. They may react so crazy, and then want nothing to do with me.
But are they really your friend?
I mean, agreed.
I mean, are they really your friend? Because listen, I get heat
totally
from my family all the time. Like, literally, all my in-laws hate my stinking guts because I like Orange Man. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
They hate me. Now, when you boil down the issues, they have nothing to talk about. When I boil down Corona facts, they get pissed off because it doesn't fit with the narrative because they're programmed. When I boil down the record of Donald Trump, they get pissed off. Now, I don't care. I'm just a jerk. I naturally don't care. I'm a jerk like that because my thought process is this: you are allowed to have your opinion, and I completely can disagree with you in a civil way.
Agreed. I mean, yeah.
Listen, he has absurd thoughts on the Wonder Woman movie. Okay, absurd, absolutely absurd thoughts. Alright? Absurd.
I have
But I
completely accurate thoughts.
But I can laugh
on
that
the Wonder
off
Woman movie. What are
and
you
push
talking
back.
about?
I push back on him and say, listen, it's not as bad as you think,
No,
bro.
no, it was a good movie. But there are scenes.
Listen, and that's okay.
No!
I'm right, dang it! But, like, honestly, like, my buddy who's moving from Chicago to Cleveland, we joke around. At the end of our conversation every time is, Orange Man bad. And I laugh. He says it. And he knows how absurd that sounds. He'll never be a Trump supporter. But he's lived in Chicago long enough to be like, these Democrats are pretty, crappy. You know what I mean? But he's going through the same journey that I went to, okay? And we've always had discord. He was a big Bush guy, and I was an Obama guy. And then somehow, in 2020, I'm a Trump guy, and he's an anti-Trump guy, which is hilarious how that works. But we still love each other, man, because at the end of the day, who cares? Who cares? Listen, at the end of the day, we're going to vote. God's in control. And we can have a difference of opinion on things. That's fine. That's the whole point of this show.
Way. Okay, now that is the way it should be.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Okay? That is the way it should be, but now we live in a culture where you can literally lose your job. Your means of supporting yourself and your family over what you believe politically.
That's why you don't friend people from
From work.
Here's the thing. I've heard that and I agree. That's very and it's happened.
Mm-hmm. It has happened.
But you gotta be smart about it. Okay? Like, I wear my liberal logic shirt at work. Okay? Because I work from home. I just make sure the camera is just slightly above that liberal part. Okay? Now, I'll move around where people can see it. People know where I stand. And when they get on there and they're like, oh man, this is crazy that our kids are going back to school. And this is crazy. And I'm like, I'm sending my kid back to school. I don't say a word. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not going to convince you either way. I'm not going to. My job is not to convince you. But when I go to the ballot box and it says Orange Man and I drop that ballot into the box, guess what? There's going to be a lot more of me than a lot more than that cat. Because let's get real. At the end of the day, how many parents, and you're a homeschool guy, so you guys are doing a great job with homeschool. Not everybody can do that.
You know what's been on my mind about homeschool lately?
That it's probably going to explode.
Oh, definitely.
And it already has, but yes.
Yeah, definitely, it's going to explode, and that scares me because now we're on the radar.
Yeah.
And
you should go off the grid.
Yeah, we were a little off the grid, and they were like, okay, homeschool's not great. We're actively against it. We'll try to sneak things in every now and then.
Yep.
But now but they're a fringe group of idiots who have really talented kids that end up going to college with great scores and doing amazing things. But
True.
They're fringe, and so we can let them slide. But now it's a big problem.
Yeah.
What? Like, 10%, 20% of our county is no longer going to use our public schools. This is a big problem. We can't have 20% of our people not indoctrinated.
Yep. And guess what? Private schools are going to go up because guess what? I'm willing to spend the money for private school. I'm sending my daughter to private school. I will spend my hard-earned money to send my kid to Christian school. Partly because I did that. My parents made that decision growing up. My wife's parents made that decision growing up. I'm going to send my kid to Christian school because at the end of the day, like, even though they're doing the stupid mask thing for kindergartners and whatnot, blah, 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 long story short, guess what? I'm going to send my kid to the place I think they're going to get the best education possible. And what's crazy is this, like, at the end of the day, I don't give a rat's butt what Tommy Four Fingers down the road thinks about George W. Bush. Because at the end of the day, what can I control the most of? First of all, my relationship with God, then my relationship with my wife, then my relationship with my kids, and then what happens in my home. If I control those things and do my best to serve God in those things, it takes care of itself. And I think there's been the blessing of COVID-19 or COVID-1984 is people are waking up to, wait a minute, I've been an autopilot. I've been sending my kid to these schools. Now they're getting exposed because they're really not that good of educational systems. Homeschool's exploding. Private schools exploding. Because the admission at the school that I'm sending my kids to exploded because of this. Because people are like, dude, I don't want to send my kid to public school now. Because it's because now I saw the teachers that are teaching my kids on a regular basis. I don't want them teaching my kids. They're freaking morons. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the crazy thing is, the teachers' unions are fighting not to open up again for Black Lives Matter, for more pay, for all this bullcrap, and eventually it's going to implode on itself.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And hopefully it does.
Yeah.
Hopefully it does.
But
I want
to
to
talk about school and work.
Charter schools.
Yeah.
But let's turn our public education system into charter system.
Well, no, we can't have that.
No, we can, and
We
it'll be
can't
better.
have
We'll be
that.
better off for it.
Well, Democrats can't have that.
Yeah, well, they can.
Because it would force.
They can cram it with walnuts. Deep State says public schools have the best education. We start teaching diversity in kindergarten. You don't
Yes.
want your kids to miss out on that.
Oh, dear Lord, I'm good. My kids are already diverse enough.
Yeah, my kids learn diversity. They play with any kid that, comes their way.
Crazy. Yeah, in the body of Christ, there's not just white people, so it's kind of cool how that works. Run into people of all different colors. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like what I was going to say was this. Well, as far as the work thing, there's definitely a clear threat. Because trust me, I see it in my work right now. I work for a massive corporation, a thing I thought I never would do. I shilled out to the man. And even worse, I'm shilling out to the man that works with the Rothschilds and all those banks. Right? But it's so funny. Like, they had a meeting for an hour today, basically getting us to understand that since we've been working from home, we're more productive. And we're getting more success and making more money working from home than we did in the office. They actually save money as a company by having us work from home. And they're like, well, we'll have the option for you to work from home or work in an office and whatever. But what's funny is, you know what their metrics that they kept bringing up was? Productivity, profitability, and diversity. And I'm sitting there laughing my butt off. I'm like, what does diversity have to do with anything that they're talking about? But they have a diversity CEO in the company. Now, again, whatever. If you figure out where I work, that's fine. It's fine. Whatever, okay? She happens to be, one of those alphabet people, and there's nothing wrong with the alphabet people. But what I'm trying to say is this. She doesn't need to know my politics. If you're going to fire me, then I'm going to pull the black card. I'm going to say you're discriminating against me, and I'm going to use my black card effectively. But long story short is this. I don't friend anybody from work. Sorry. I talk to, with the best part about working from home, I only deal with my clients and my manager. That's it. That's all I talk to right now. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing. I never have to interact with people. And if they start going to the politics about Orange Man bad, you know what I do? I just hit that mute button and I don't have to hear them talk. They're like, great. And what's beautiful is, because I work from home, they never see, or they're never around me enough to even figure out what my politics are. But then they'll be shocked when everybody wants to go back to school. They'll be shocked when everybody wants to carry a gun, and they'll be shocked when everybody wants to vote for Orange Man here in Florida. You know what I mean? They'll be, oh, what's going on? And they'll have that moment of epiphany, that self-evaluation that my buddy who lived in Chicago did when he's like, this place is a hellhole. I need to save my family. When New Yorkers think, oh man, this is a hellhole, and they're shutting down business, and Florida's opened up, and nobody's dying in Florida, there are more quote-unquote COVID-19 cases in Florida, even though those numbers are fraudulent, but there's more cases here than New York with, what, a tenth of the deaths? Crazy. So, at the end of the day, like, the Civil War is not going to come.
With a large elderly population.
Huge elderly population. Bigger than theirs.
Yeah.
But magically,
I wonder what it was.
Maybe because we're a right-leaning state and we still inflate the numbers. They're trying really hard to do that. But it's really hard when the whole state is waiting for you to do bullcrap, and we will call you out on every case.
Yeah, but what specifically did New York do wrong?
Oh, they kept putting COVID patients in old people's homes and letting old people die.
Well,
Yeah, and locking people down, and forcing people.
Cuomo's a Republican, right?
No. Cuomo's a hardcore.
Okay, then that couldn't be it.
Yeah,
that couldn't be it.
But yeah, anyways, always diverse advocate, deep state. Yeah, because this is what's so funny about this meeting is like our profitability went up like 15% in the last quarter of the year, and they attributed it to productivity, profitability, and diversity. And it's like, what does that have to do? What does that have to do with selling stuff. Like, what does that have to do with anything? But the other thing too, and I didn't think about it until I saw John MacArthur, is okay. You're pushing stupid ideas. You're pushing Kamala Harris. You're pushing shutting everything down. You're pushing let's stay at home until nothing bad ever happens. You're pushing, attaboy. You're pushing shutting down the bread and circus of the sports. You're basically trying to push all these bad ideas. And then on top of that, you're trying to tell people that they can't come together in a church just in California. At what point do you really think people are that compliant in the United States? I mean, I get it, we're dumb. There's a lot of dumb Americans. But what's inherently in our DNA is a rebellion. Mm-hmm. We love freedom more than anything else.
Degeneration.
But I mean, think about it, like my buddy. One of my good buddies was a missionary to Mexico, and he's like, listen, the reason why the United States is so unique is because you got to think about it. The people that are here are born and bred from rebels, and the people that flee here are naturally rebellious people.
Mm-hmm.
Compliant people stay in Maduro's Venezuela. Look how big our Venezuelan population is in Florida. We have a huge Venezuelan population here.
Mm.
Those are the people that said, screw you, Maduro, we're coming to freaking Florida. Think about the Russians that come here. Screw you, KGB, Soviet Union, we're coming to America. Screw you, whatever horrible place people are coming from, because they're naturally rebellious. So you have a naturally rebellious group of people. If you try these Saul Alinsky bullcrap techniques, you can dupe people for a little bit of time, but the chickens come to roost, man. At some point, people are like, bro, if I can go to a college university, why can't I play college football? Bro, I thought you said the police were bad, but now you're going to put Kamala Harris as the vice president? Bro, you told me that, that Trump, when Trump was first in, they told you that he was mentally unstable, he was insane, he's all this crap, and you're putting Joe Biden in front. Bro, you're telling me that I don't need a gun, but then you're trying to take away my police. You're trying to tell me that we're all going to die from this invisible disease, and point blah, blah, blah % of us have actually died from this. You're trying to tell me that Andrew Cuomo's the man to run the country down the road, and he let hundreds of thousands of people die. It was 100,000? How many people died? 32,000 people died in New York? It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's whatever.
That's a lot.
But he let whatever. So you're telling me all these things that I'm supposed to believe, but at some point even dumb people realize when they're being duped. That's why Florida's blowing up. Tennessee, Texas, all these places are blowing up right now. What are the stats in New York? New York should be what is it at? 32,000 people died.
Yep.
32,000 people died. Okay. Crazy. Florida, where are we at in Florida? I think we're at, where's Florida?
Looking for it.
I know we're up there, aren't we? Florida. Okay. 8,000.
8,000.
So we have more infected people than New York with
550,000 confirmed.
With a fourth of the deaths.
Yep.
No, that's weird how that works. Crazy. Anyways, but that's what I'm trying to say. At some point, the chickens are going to come to roost. At some point, you're going to wake up and say, why in the world would I put a girl in power that threw a bunch of marijuana smokers in jail when she was smoking pot too? Why in the world would I put someone in power who denied a man his freedom based on DNA because she wanted to keep cheap labor going and was forced to? Why in the world would I put a guy who's been in politics for 47 years and has done nothing in power over the United States of America? We were reading an article before. Nancy Pelosi slipped up and said the best thing that could happen for China is Biden becoming president. Okay? At some point, we're going to put a billionaire playboy real estate mogul as our president, as a rebellion towards the stupidity.
Yep.
At some point, we're going to say, listen, we know it's bread and circus, but we want our freaking bread and circus. Give us college football and football back. We're done playing. At some point, parents that are way not as strong as Mr. Whaley over here are going to say, I need to send my freaking kids to school. Okay? Get out of here. I'll pay for it. Private school, just go. Okay? At some point, there's going to be a rebellion. And it's not going to be a civil war like people think it's going to be guns. Because the left doesn't have any guns. They don't have any real power. Their power is Twitter. All 2% of them, okay? Yeah. That's it. They're just louder than everybody else.
They're louder, and they're They have the power of Karen.
Karen.
And that's about it.
Corona Bros and Karen, okay? Guess what? At some point, you're going to push Christians into the wall, and we're going to push back, and John MacArthur is going to say, "No, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to church."
This was Bobby the Bull had a question a while back.
Oh, what do you got, Bobby? What you got, Bobby the Bull? It's Q&A time anyways, man. We got to answer the questions. What's up?
Give me a second. Serious question. In the present time, and for those who are new to the faith, how much should the church comply with the government authority, and where do we enact civil disobedience against them?
That's a very simple question, and I'll answer it very simply because I just had this discussion with my mother-in-law, and it was funny because, you know, and I'm not saying this to besmirch my mother-in-law. I think she's an amazing woman, but she's massively compliant to the rules of what's going on, and there's family situations, and there's Corona Bros amiss in my family. Trust me. On my side, on my wife's side, okay? There's Corona Bros, we're all gonna die, okay? Got it. Nobody's died. Weird. So weird. But she, you know, she pointed that out. She's like, well, Romans 13 tells us to submit to the authorities and the authorities and the municipalities of the time. And I said, you're absolutely correct. And I agree with you. We should absolutely submit to the authority that's in front of us. But here's where Christians keep messing it up. Who's the authority of the United States of America? What is the ultimate pinnacle authority other than God in the United States of America? What is it? Is it the president? Is it Congress?
No.
Is it the Supreme Court?
No.
Is it your mayor?
Nope.
Is it your what aldermen? They call them aldermans in Chicago.
I can tell you what it is in 3 words.
What is it?
We the people.
Which is in what document?
The
Constitution,
the Constitution
of the
and
United States of America.
The Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. But the Constitution of the United States of America is our principal authority. And that's what followers of Christ in America keep screwing up. What they keep screwing up is, well, the mayor said that, you know, I need to do this really unconstitutional thing, and no.
The mayor does not have that authority to say that.
The mayor doesn't have that power. The Constitution...
You're giving him power that he does not have.
Yes.
That's the thing. Well, and that's what, you know, that's why we don't have civics classes anymore.
Yep.
Because the progressives... the leftists,
they don't want that.
The globalists don't want you to know what power you have.
Yep. And guess what that Constitution says? If the people we've put in power start doing unconstitutional things, we can rebel against them. That is in the charter of the Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution is our highest authority in America. We don't have kings. We don't have lords. We have people in power that are there because we, the people, wrote it in the Constitution to allow them to be in that position. But they are not the ultimate authority. And that's what followers of Christ miss up all the time. Because they're like, well, Romans 13. And I'm like, I agree with you, brother. Romans 13, we absolutely want to comply with what the Bible says. So let's take that in the context of the United States of America. What's our highest principle? What's our highest authority? The Constitution of the United States of America. Go ahead and read what you got there. Sorry, man.
Well, there's a couple quotes. One's from Jonathan Swift. For in reason, all government without the consent of the governed is the very definition of slavery. But in fact, 11 men well armed will certainly subdue one single man in his shirt.
Yep.
And then this is just governments are instituted among men. This is, I believe, from the Declaration of Independence.
Yep.
Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
Yep.
Ultimately, the people have the power.
Yep. We are the ultimate authority under the Constitution of the United States.
And the people having that power and keeping, like, the only equal distribution I care about is the equal distribution of power.
And justice, but yes, I understand what you're
Well, yeah. True.
But I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. So power and
pick it up later.
justice are the only things that we should be concerned
Yeah.
with being equally distributed.
And to be fair, like, here's the thing. Like, everybody forgets this. They forget the Constitution is our governing body. It's not like old England where the king was the end-all, be-all. This is not North Korea where Kim Jong-un is the guy who runs everything.
Nope.
In that context, sadly, in that context of the Bible, and I don't say that sadly because the Bible's wrong or anything, but in that context, you got to be submissive to your authority there.
Yeah.
In America, our authority is a piece of paper that protects the rights, the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness here in America. I'm sorry, Corona Bros, but you can't force people to wear masks constitutionally. You can't fire people because they have a different thinking view than you do. You can't censor people's speech. You can't do half of the things that they're getting away with, not because they have the legal authority to do, but because we allow them to push us in that place. Guess what? Churches never had to shut down. The Constitution, the very First Amendment protects that right. Just like people have the right to peacefully assemble and protest. As long as you peacefully protest, you can protest all day long. I support protesting, okay? I'm not one that's going to say, oh, those protesters are evil and bad. The rioters, the looters, and the people that are hijacking these protests are the bad guys. Yeah. And shockingly, everybody starts joining in.
You have the right to peaceably assemble.
100%. But guess what? You can't tell me that I can't assemble because of the Wuhan flu. And that's what they're doing. It's unconstitutional for the state of California to tell you that you can't meet and you can't sing and praise God because that's unconstitutional. That's why John MacArthur literally said, this is against, we're rebelling against this stupidity because this is an edict. This isn't a law. This isn't a constitution. It's an edict.
Didn't he say, like, welcome to our protest service or something
welcome to our protest service. Because guess what? At the end of the day, Pharaoh said, hey, listen, it wasn't in law, but now, hey, listen, we're going to just kill all the firstborn of the Jews. That's an edict, kiddos. That ain't law. That's not... Masks are not law, guys. That's what everybody keeps missing on this. Mm-hmm. It's not law. You may have mayors.
You have a mayor who decreed that this will be.
Well,
the mayor can't decree. The legislature writes the laws.
Which is written in the Constitution of the United States. We know this. If you know the Constitution. So all my brothers and sisters in Christ, like, listen, at some point you got to wake up here. The Bible, we're following the Bible by literally saying, okay, what's the highest authority in the United States? It's the Constitution. Constitution says that's unconstitutional. I'm doing what Christ has told me to do, which is submit to this authority that he's put in front of me. The authority that he's put me is not Kim Jong-un. It's not Angela Merkel. It's not freaking Maduro. It is the Constitution of the United States. It's not even Donald J. Trump.
It's a great question,
It's the
JVN.
Constitution.
Can businesses refuse service, though?
Yeah.
I say yes.
They absolutely can.
Yes, they can.
They can do that. It happened to me this weekend when I was trying to get my stupid phone fixed. I had a guy literally like, oh, excuse me, sir, you need to wear a mask. Well, I'm not going to wear a mask. I literally asked him, I was like, cool, so you don't want my business? He's like, no. I'm like, okay. And I walked out. I drove 20 minutes the other way to the same exact brand store, walked in with no mask, and he got my business. He got $350 worth of my business.
Nice.
I was like, listen, that's fine, but I have to understand as a citizen that they can refuse my service.
Yeah. Because they're not the government.
They're not. They can refuse my service.
You're on their private property, ultimately.
But let's get real. How many gas stations are stopping you from coming in because of a mask?
None of them.
The only people that are hardcore about the mask bullcrap are major corporations because they don't want liability. But what's crazy is in tort law and legal law, it's very hard to prove that someone got COVID-19 in your store. It's hard to prove that.
Yeah.
But, that's a legal discussion and that's another story, whatever. But at the end of the day, listen, as a business owner, I can refuse business. When I ran my own business, I can refuse business to certain people. I don't have to sell you what I've got. Mm-hmm. And it happened a few times. I got pissed at people. And it wasn't because of their race, gender, or whatever. They're just jackholes and I didn't want to do business with them. It's really simple. I can refuse business. Now, from a capitalistic standpoint, that will hurt me in the long run because guess what? You push away enough people, they're not going to come to your business.
And they'll spread the word.
100%. You know, but
if you look at the internet, you know, more often than not, the comments on a service or a item are negative, because the only people who get in a state of mind to make a comment are people who are upset.
Yep.
So,
100%.
you know,
It's crazy how it works.
but that's the beauty of capitalism too. Capitalism is about service.
Yep.
You are doing a service to your fellow man.
Yep.
In exchange for their capital.
Yep. And technical drum, here's the thing too. As a business owner, you should be able to push back on that. Legislatively, you should be able to push back and like, listen, I should be able to run my business the way it is. Because here's the thing, there's code enforcement, right? There's definitely code enforcement for businesses. If you want to do business in the city of Orlando, there's codes that you have to do. When you just add stuff to the code that's not even put in the legislation, that's a violation of your agreement with the city of Orlando. So for example, when I set up my business in the city of Orlando, there were things that I had to be compliant with. I'd have certain fire escapes, you know what I mean? Like I had to have certain things. Masks weren't a part of the game, you know what I mean? So as a business owner, you can push back. But here's the thing. Most small businesses are not going to push back because, let's get real, one, it's expensive to push back, okay? Two, if they really don't care about the masks, they'll just say, hey, listen, we don't care about the masks. And they won't enforce it anyways. They'll put the sign up and say, okay, sure, whatever, I don't care. You know? The only people that are really latching onto this are big corporations, because big corporations don't want the bad PR. And they want to be overly cautious, which is fine. It is what it is. So, but understand the difference between the Constitution and an edict. There's a completely different deal, and that's what I had to challenge people on, especially followers of Christ. Like, listen, I understand. You know, if the Holy Spirit's telling you, like, hey, you need to really submit to this mayor of this certain thing, that's fine. When I read the Word of God, I'm looking at the highest authority that God has put under us or over us, other than Him. And in America, it's the Constitution of the United States, and I can't find the amendment that said you have to wear a mask 24/7 when the sniffles come around. I still can't find that one, which is crazy. Did you find it in there?
No.
Okay, I was just curious, man, which is crazy. But yeah, it is what it is. Breathable, 100% breathable. A sport a do-rag is a mask. That's smart. That's smart, Bobby the Bull. Slap a do-rag on there, you have tons of breathing, man, which is good. Oh no, I'm not gonna do it.
Medical face diapers.
The one time I had to wear a freaking mask was for Little Caesars the other day, and I was so pissed. And it was just a sleeve, because I never wear sleeve shirts. I just cut my sleeves off and put it over my face. And I'm like, oh, this is my mask, because it's gonna save me and Grandma. But yeah, it is what it is.
To get your $5 hot and ready.
Yeah, which is so funny, because the thing about when you go to restaurants, you walk in with a mask, but then when you sit down, you take the mask off.
So there's this
yeah, I don't understand.
There's this place not far from here. It's a restaurant, and we went last Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And it's a seafood place, and it's very popular with the after church crowd, and there were a ton of elderly people there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mask wearers. I didn't wear a mask. And you know what? I'll be darned if like 70% of the elderly people weren't wearing masks.
Old people don't care.
They're the most vulnerable.
They don't care.
If they're not going to wear a mask, I'm not going to wear a mask.
I'm going to tell you who cares about this. You know who cares about this? 50-year-old baby boomers. That is the only those people, and like super young, healthy people that are liberally indoctrinated. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Karens, the Corona Bros, and you know,
and the germaphobes,
and the germaphobe feminists. That's the only people that care about this, because actual old people don't give a rat's butt. They don't. The okay Karens, the 50 to 60-year-old baby boomers that are entitled and spoiled anyways. No offense to the baby boomers, they're the ones that care about this, because they listen to whatever the authorities are telling them, which is hilarious. Seeing as anyways, that's another story for another time. But but think about this. That's really what it is. Normal people don't really care. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. My wife didn't used to be a Karen. I'm sorry. Sorry, man.
She get bitten.
She got bitten by the Karen bug. We're all gonna die. 0.006% of us. But yeah, it is what it is, man. All right, we got time for one more question, because we're an hour and 40 minutes, man. We're blowing it up today. We're just blowing it up today, man. So much to talk about. She gonna put you back in chains. I had to say it, man. I had to say it. She gonna put you back in chains.
You got a TikTok question?
Let's see. I'm waiting for them to kick me out for my Trump 2020 mask. I like that, Harry. What you got, man? Last segment of the day. I got one question. Do we have any questions that are up there? Any pressing questions for the show today? What do we got, man? It's your show now, boys and girls. I got about 5 minutes left of a voice. I got to save my melodious voice for talking to clients tomorrow, which is going to be exciting. That's high productivity, high profitability, and diversity. Because diversity is
diversity is our strength.
Really moves the needle.
Diversity is our strength. Don't you know that?
Because
skin color, a wide variety of skin colors makes us a better company.
because C-suites that want to make a buck really give a crap what your color your skin is or who you're banging in the bedroom, because that's so vital.
It's so stupid.
It's so vital to profitability.
It's so stupid. It's the dumbest thing. Diversity is our strength.
Oh yeah. Well, I become a WWE commentator. The problem is, to be a commentator, you've got to be in the business, and unfortunately, people want me to do it. I have a lot of friends that are wrestlers, especially since we live here in Orlando, so we have NXT that's here, and a lot of the wrestlers end up working out here and hanging out here, and we run into them a lot. But I ran into Bobby Lashley a couple weeks ago. I ran into an NXT kid that just put prominently on NXT. I got to watch the newest NXT. He works out at my gym too. I try to get him to bench with me all the time.
Is this Austin Theory?
No, he's the English guy who used to play rugby, professional rugby.
Oh, okay, cool. Don't know.
Good dude, really good dude. I forget his name's Luke in real life, but that's not his character name.
Oh yeah.
Of course, we've heard of Ring of Honor, baby. Come on, man. That's where
Bullet Club.
That's where Bullet Club really got like hot here in America.
Yeah, that's
because they like introduced that Japanese stable. But you know what I loved about Ring of Honor is they would have a super kick party. Tally. They'd have a tally for how many times they hit a super kick. Super kick! Super kick! But yeah, man. Well, I mean, you gotta think about Ring of Honor. The newest like round of people in WWE, the Seth Rollins, the not Samoa Joe, but Kevin Owens, freaking Daniel Bryan. All those guys came from Ring of Honor. So that's some good stuff back in the wrestling days. But I would love to do wrestling commentary. I think I would be fire on it. I would like to be like who's the punter guy who's on NXT right now? He has a really successful podcast. He's a former punter for the Colts. He's beefing with Adam Cole right now, and he punted Adam Cole in the face.
Oof. Started
some beef with the Undisputed Era, so that's pretty exciting. AEW's rocking and rolling right now. I absolutely love
the system.
They're gold. I would love to see Undisputed Era versus FTR. I would love that, but it is what it is.
Southeast Michigan.
Nice. Good old Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan.
Ring of Honor's good. Impact is growing again, man. They got a lot of WWE's throwaways who are actually like
the Coronafires. They call them the Coronafires.
The Coronafires.
The Coronafires. Gotta fire you because of Corona.
Yeah.
Gotta shrink up.
They got rid of a lot of good people that they never utilized right because they don't know what they're doing anymore. That was so dumb. That was the.
That's the dude.
And what sucks is like most of these people probably were like, man, I finally made it. We're in the WWE. I made it to the WWE.
Yeah, but nowadays,
made it.
But nowadays that's been. It's like any idea.
Yeah, now that's gone.
Yeah, I mean the idea.
But see, okay, so, yeah, you're right. The WWE was the pinnacle.
It was the pinnacle.
Okay,
right.
and then you start to see it starting to lose its luster, but there are still people who were like, yeah, I made it to the pinnacle, and I think now they've reached that point where it's like, I don't even want to go there.
Yeah. No.
To just get misused and destroyed.
So we got a question from TikTok. I got a question from Matthew. Matthew has a question from TikTok. Is do you think Harris will make a difference in the Biden? Make a difference in Biden? Here's the very, very simple question. Yes, and not the way that you think it will. I think that a couple things. I'm going to put my conspiracy out. Give me a little X-Files, please. Give me some Alex Jones.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
So, it's a double-level conspiracy theory that is about to happen here on Plausible Foolishness. I had the X-Files music and the Alex Jones music. I missed that. Because when you're remote, I can't cue those up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. But to answer your question, she's the sacrificial lamb. So, what the Democrats, in my opinion, are doing is they know that Biden's not going to win. They know it. They know it. You know it. I know it. Okay? It is really hard to unseat an incumbent. It's really hard to do it with a man who's clearly mentally gone, and they know it. They are picking Kamala as the sacrificial lamb because you got to understand, Kamala never really polled very high in the primaries.
2% at most.
Like, she was at 2%.
There may have been like a week where she was like 10%.
But yeah, like,
But
at the end of the day...
she wasn't wowing anybody.
Bobby the Bull, I have a lot of Alex Jones. Dude, Alex Jones is just funny. The funniest meme is the one where it's like, when a girl flirts with you and how Alex Jones responds. He's like, "Do you want to have sex with me?" And he like smiles all like Alex Jonesy crazy. "You want to have sex with me?" But no, this is a sacrificial lamb move. I mean, this is a typical globalist sacrificial lamb move, right? So when they want the heat to come off of something, they sacrifice a celebrity. You know, when they want pedophilia to go away, they sacrifice Jeffrey Epstein. You know, when they want you to stop talking about child sex trafficking, they start burning down, 20 different random locations in the last week. They blow up Lebanon. They blow up Beirut. They, this is the stuff that they do, right? Dubai. This is what they do. They cover their tracks with sacrificial lambs. There's a way that they do this. And she's a sacrificial lamb. And what I mean by that is this. At the end of the day, couple things. They're going to put her up knowing that they're going to lose so that they can go to their constituency and say, well, see, at least we put up a chocolate-covered woman.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're diverse and we're hip and we're really trying. Knowing that they're going to fail so that the next round, do you think that the next candidate for the Democratic Party is going to be more centrist or even more extremely left? What do you think is going to happen?
History is telling me more extremely left.
They're going to go more extremely left because what they're going to say is, hey, listen, we tried to put up a middle grounder in Kamala Harris, even though she's not. We tried to put a middle ground person like Kamala and a middle ground person like Joe, and we got annihilated. So clearly the Democratic Party, to rally behind us, we got to go more left and get an AOC, Bernie, Ralph Nader. Just kidding. I had to go old school with that Green Party. We got to go with the craziest lefty communist socialist possible, or we're never going to get in. And they're okay with that because you may
Omar
lose.
for president.
Yeah, exactly. Ilhan Omar, who's caught doing felonies, by the way, and no one's talking about it, but that's another story.
Nobody's doing anything about it.
Exactly, because she's in Minnesota. And they have no balls in Minnesota, clearly. George Floyd situation, check the whole video. But anyways, all I'm going to say is, so you got to think about this. They're doing this on purpose to say, to show their due diligence. Well, we did our due diligence, and we tried the minority, and we tried the middle ground guy, and you guys didn't want that. So, well, we got to go to the left now. And once they go to the left, it's a matter of time. Now, some people were like, well, of course, that's going to be the death of the Democratic Party. I could see that happening, and you're right. The Democratic Party will remain, but it will be dead as we know it. It won't be the blue collar for the people Democratic Party. It'll be the Socialist Party of America. And that's what the Democrats ultimately want anyways. Mm-hmm. And they're probably going to lose this year, and they'll lose next year too, because once Trump gets this thing rocking and rolling, and my girl, Sarah Huckabee Sanders comes off the bench and waxes that, you know what? The next option for the balance of the pendulum swing will be a Democrat, but it's not going to be JFK Democrat. It's not going to be, even Bill Clinton Democrat. I hate to say that, pedophile Bill, okay? I did not fly to Lolita Island 26 times or sleep with that woman. And it what's the definition of it is it's not going to be that kind of Democrat. It's going to be AOC, Ilhan Omar. It's going to be that type of person. That's the whole game plan. The game plan is not for 2020. The game plan is for 2028. The game plan is when enough of us old effers die off.
Yeah, we can't go to sleep.
When we die off, and they've indoctrinated our kids to think that everything is racist and everything needs to be overthrown because the patriarchy, the hegemony, what is it? The hegemony. Sorry, I said the word wrong. Hegemony. All this Marxist bullcrap that they're pumping right now, and they want this to happen, so that we'll be like, yes, please give us socialism, without saying socialism. She's a sacrificial lamb. She's gonna help Joe Biden, but not the way you think. She's gonna help the Democratic Party.
What we really
push the
need,
narrative.
What we really need, we're so focused on the presidency. And this might be a good topic for next week. We're so focused on the presidency, this election.
Yep.
We need to be concerned about Congress.
Yep.
Because, I mean, we need to be concerned about the presidency, too.
Yeah.
Like, go and vote.
It's down ballot, though. I mean,
you know,
you're going to have people that come out for Trump that go for the right, which is good.
I hope so.
The problem is
but
the
like,
midterms.
we need to take those, we need to
I know what
take
you mean, though.
back those seats. We need to get those majorities in there so that this president can do things that he needs to do. Because I don't think that Trump's going to be like all the past Republican presidents who have a majority and then do nothing with it.
No, Trump will do something with it. I mean, he's already doing
Hopefully, it's always up in the air.
Well, you got to
hopefully he does exactly what he's been doing.
Well, here's the thing: the Republicans don't have any balls. So if they have the majority,
It's so ridiculous,
and somebody
man.
with balls in the presidency, they'll actually do what Republicans are supposed to.
But you know, there's some young Republicans out there. There's like Anna Paulina. She's got a district in here in Florida.
I hate.
Yeah, there's a
like
couple
people
other.
like Matt Gaetz. People
Yeah. We need more of those.
Who's Eye Patch? What's his name?
Dan Crenshaw.
Dan Crenshaw. That sounds so horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, yo, Eye Patch. Hey, Eye Patch, come here, bro. No, that's horrible. I shouldn't say that.
Yo, Eye Patch, you're doing a great job.
Yo, Eye Patch, keep it up, bro.
Can't remember your name.
Michelle Obama's podcast exclusively on Spotify. Make sure to check it out. Everyone's like, nope. But no, I mean, it's just, here's the thing. There's fiery Republicans. The problem, though, is you still have Cocaine Mitch. You still have those old school blue blood Republicans in power. And no offense, like, I like Ted Cruz, but he's soft. He is soft. He plays along with these guys all the time. I like Rand Paul, but he's kind of soft too. You know what I mean? I mean, he at least votes his conscience for a little bit. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Go ahead.
He's not soft. Neither of those are soft. Like, I mean, Ted Cruz.
They're not effective.
Well, they're kind of alone.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because Ted Cruz will go and he'll filibuster for hours.
Yeah.
For something that he truly believes in, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't just sit there and play along and do nothing.
Sure.
He just is one man.
He still wants to be the president. He's going to give you a podcast to get you to like him. Which is a smart strategy, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Republicans they love Ted Cruz. You know, I'd like to see a little bit more bulge, but you know what?
Well, you would like to see a little bit more Trump-esque throwing it in their faces.
Yes.
That's just not his style.
I don't want civilized discourse anymore. I want rude discord. I'm not talking about violence. I'm not talking about overturning. But I want actual in-your-face bullcrap. I like what they do in British Parliament. I hate to say it. For the honorable SOB that I'm about to roast for the next 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, at least they get after each other in an honorable way. But it's like, dude, like, have some balls. I'm just tired of, like, the American people are tired of pardon my French, this is a kid show, but nutlessness. They're over the nutlessness. You feel me?
Sure.
And here's the thing. You want an indicator of it? Newest Rasmussen poll. You know what the president's approval rating with black Americans is in America right now? 36%. That's 3 months in a row where the Trumpster is showing positive 30% approval rating in the black community. And you're not going to hear about it because they won't put black people out there.
You know why? Because the people rioting and the people at the BLM protests are not indicative of actual black America.
Nope.
Black America is sitting back and going, why are we letting these idiots run rampant?
Yes.
They're destroying the business that I just started under Trump's economy.
Where's the police? Where's the law and order? Where are the Democrats at that said they were going to help me for years? And Trump finally had the balls to say, what do you got to lose? You've been voting Democrat for years. And that was a little bit more JFK than Trump.
Yeah.
But China. China. I have to say China to get my Trump voice going and stuff like that. But what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Just have the balls to say that. And guess what?
Oh, for sure.
People respond.
For sure.
But it's
and we should be calling out evil.
That's huge. Huge.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Huge numbers.
Peanutless peanut butter.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, let's get real. If you really boil down true Republicans, what's the difference between them and Democrats? Absolutely nothing. There's nothing different about them. Mm-hmm. They just say that they're red. I mean, let's get real. And I say this as a guy who's trying to help a guy win a seat here in Florida, but the Republicans here are really not Republicans. They're not. They're like Democrats that are just really pissed off that the Democrats are going super left. You know what I mean? True Republicans don't really exist, right? There's conservatives out there that keep voting for Republicans, but, you know...
the Republican Party isn't necessarily the conservative party.
No, not at all.
Their platform is way better than the Democrat platform, but it's not a truly conservative platform.
Not at all.
Because of people like Cocaine Mitch and so on, you know, that are in there to make a deal.
All right.
Let's make a deal.
True that.
Yeah? Let's start a war.
Yeah.
Let's start a war.
Let's just go bomb some people in the Middle East.
Yeah, that'll make us some money, right?
All right, TikTok, I got to wrap it up here. Got to wrap it up on TikTok because my phone's about to die, but we love you guys. Kisses. Bye. But hey,
so,
it's been 2 hours, bro.
Yeah, it has.
I love these people, and I want to keep them entertained because that's what we do around here at Plausible Foolishness. But Daddy's got to get up and make that money tomorrow. We got to get it going, baby. You feel me?
Yes.
And one day this will do that for us. You feel me?
I hope so.
Because of your support, guys.
Yes.
So make sure you follow us, like, share everywhere. Thank you
can
for everybody.
Subscribe here if you don't want to subscribe here. Go to plausiblepoolishness.locals.com. That's all set up to take your... it's not a dating site. It is a place where you can support us. You can also get the latest episodes. You know, there right after.
Hell yeah!
Right after the show.
Oh yeah, guys! Thank you for having an amazing show. I appreciate you guys so much for faithfully watching us. Hopefully, we brought some entertainment. Hopefully, we gave you a little bit of truth. It was a little bit. What?
Ooh.
It's huge. We appreciate you. For the mad scientist, for the strong one, we love you guys. See you guys later. Locals is not a dating site.
Yes, you are correct, sir. Not a dating site.
Locals is not a dating site. See you guys.
Peace.
It's gonna be here.